Hey, you're listening to episode 32 of the TA Pedals podcast. I'm Tristan.
I'm Stephon. Are you worried? I don't know.
What?
I said I feel like we were talking loud, and then I said, "Well, you did. You sounded that way anyway." I don't know.
I have no idea what's happening. But good morning.
Morning.
It's 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It sucks. Yeah. So we're talking about cryptids today.
Cryptids.
Cryptids, for anyone who doesn't know, are all those elusive, fanciful creatures that we just haven't been able to catch on video or in traps or have evidence of that points to their the proof of their existence.
Basically, someone says, "I saw this weird thing, and it looks like this," and then it becomes a cryptid.
Yep, pretty much. So an example of this that pretty much everyone would be familiar with is Bigfoot. And I saw a joke recently where this guy was like, maybe we can't get clear video of Bigfoot because Bigfoot himself is blurry. The video is not blurry, he's blurry. So we can't get good video footage of him.
Someone said that.
Yep. He's blurry. That's what I'm gonna stick with.
He's as fast as the Flash.
Yes.
So we can't see him.
And as strong as Superman.
I mean, there's like the one video account from like a long time ago. Like that's probably the best evidence there is out there.
Yeah,
but no one knows if it's a real thing or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's probably fake, but I don't have proof.
There's no way.
It's just like speculation.
With those old videos, it's really hard to determine. You know, like with the technology today, they can bring up weight distribution just by watching a video and like all these things, and that like since that video is so old that I don't think they've been able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and like with newer videos, like with people inserting or overlaying like UFOs and stuff like that, you can use like forensic video analysis software to see the edits. But like on an older video where it was a guy in a suit or whatever, or Bigfoot or actual Bigfoot,
who knows what it was?
Yeah,
whatever it was,
you can't tell because it wasn't digital editing.
Yeah,
if it was some sort of digital editing, they'd be able
to. The video itself had no editing on it.
Yeah,
it was just a raw, obscure video of something walking.
Yeah, and like the way it like swung its arms, like people always point to that and say it's very primate-like.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, like the way that it walked, like people point to like, well, it looks like it was a very heavy creature. And something else that people always point out about Bigfoot is the smell. Say it's like really musky, and in certain parts of the country, Bigfoot's also known as the skunk ape. Particularly like in the South, which is, kind of weird, but like specifically like Louisiana, places where they have swamps, call them the skunk ape.
Listen, if Bigfoot is real, just play off this for a little bit. All right, if Bigfoot is real, and there's only one Bigfoot, He's not going to be in multiple parts of the country. It's only going to be in one spot.
What do you mean? Like, you think like? Do you think there's only one?
I'm not saying that. Okay, there's a point to why I that's why I specifically said that. Okay.
Right.
What I'm saying is if there's only one Bigfoot, then it's not all over the United States. It's only
Right.
in one spot. Okay? If there's multiple Bigfoots, it would be a lot easier to find. Because searching for one individual is a lot harder than searching for something that exists in multiple areas.
Well, if Bigfoot exists, there's definitely more than one. But um, I'm
I
with you.
mean,
Like
if it
that would
has the
make it.
power to make itself blurry, then maybe it has the power to live forever. So
Yeah, but I don't think that either of those things are true.
no,
Um,
I don't either.
but I think that if Bigfoot existed, it would live in probably like small uh, tribes or troops like chimps, and that's what a lot of people think. There are a lot of Bigfoot believers think that it's like a tight knit community, small population, and I'm pretty sure that like we've found uh like new species of uh great apes and chimps before in like South America and stuff that are really elusive and secluded. And I think that it's been like species that were thought to be extinct or legend, just like Bigfoot. I can't pull the examples off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure I've read that that's happened. But like, it's kind of different, I think, because North America is so populated and we've explored so much of the country.
not only that, but gorillas and apes and chimpanzees, those are not native to America at all. And the only reason why we have them here is because we've brought them over.
Yeah,
And they're all in zoos pretty much.
yeah. Um, the like the Amazon rainforest is like largely still unexplored, kind of just like the ocean. And we find like new species in the ocean all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what people point to when they talk about Bigfoot, like whether he exists or not. And it's like, well, how can you completely rule it out when we are finding new species all the time? And it's like, well, I mean, you would think after all these years of people, saying that they've seen something
Mm-hmm.
that we would have had some sort of concrete evidence.
You
But
also got to
it's weird.
consider if it is in the ape family. You have to consider what do they eat and how much of that do we even have available around here, because they are not typical plants that we have in North America. That's why they don't populate North America. They populate other places. So it's like, like how many places can they actually survive that is secluded and can maintain, enough vegetation to their diet and not be found at the same time. Like, you know what I mean?
hmm Um, which brings me to the another name for Bigfoot, the Yeti or abominable snowman. Those are also uh, other names for some sort of
It-
great ape-like
some
creature.
some like off branch of some thing within the same family, I
Yeah,
guess.
normally I think people say like Sasquatch. Oh, that's another name, Sasquatch. Um, they say Sasquatch has like brown hair, whereas like the Yeti would have white hair, kind of like a polar bear. And
Like they would be more their habitat would be more northern.
Yeah, like Alaska, Canada,
Mm.
Antarctica.
I mean, if polar bears can exist in Antarctica, then why can't an abominable snowman? They're
um,
not that far off, is what I'm saying.
yeah. I
Aside
mean, I don't
aside
know.
from their diet, because ape-like creatures don't necessarily eat meat. They're kind of vegetarians.
Yeah. Um, yeah, but there are instances of chimps and stuff eating monkeys, which
Mhm.
is crazy. And so like they can be like gray apes can be omnivores, but yeah, I think diet wise it is primarily vegetation.
Yeah.
Um, but I think, you know, in extreme cases they have no problem just like ripping other monkeys apart and eating them.
Yeah, I mean, s- I think in a situation like that, they're either extremely hungry or it's a territory situation where they're trying to protect their home or take over their new home. I don't know.
Sometimes it is, but sometimes I don't think it is. I watched this documentary where these chimps um coordinate with each other, and essentially like one chimp, and I don't know how they do this without some sort of, and I know they have some sort of language, but like I don't know how complex it is, and I don't know how they'd be able to communicate the ideas that I'm about to explain without language or like you get what I'm
I
saying.
mean, it- it's like I would think that it falls in line with the typical communication of any animal that hunt in packs or whatever like that. I mean, it's not that far fetched. I don't think. It's
I'm not. It's not far fetched because it's true.
well,
but
I mean,
but what I mean is like what they'll do is they position one monkey or ape. I guess chimps are apes. They position one chimp at a specific spot, and another chimp somewhere else, another chimp somewhere else, and then like a small group of chimps will go and find this monkey, and they will drive them into those specific areas where the other chimps are waiting, and then they like ambush it essentially, and they're all working together to drive it to this specific spot where it's surrounded, and then they literally grab it and rip its arms off and then eat it. it's it's pretty whack. um and yeah, so there's definitely some communication going on about the plan, but it's
mhm.
like, how is that possible?
It's okay. So like, it- it's if you think about, hmm, I'm trying to find a good way to explain this, but like, there is like there are certain species of animals that follow like a hierarchy, as far as like elders and middle aged and kids, like that situation where like the elders will you know guide the younger ones and show them like skills and stuff been that they've figured out over the years or whatever, or that have been passed down by previous generations, and that's a pretty normal thing. So I don't I think it kind of just falls in line with that kind of situation.
Yeah, and same thing with like tool use and
Yeah.
whatever. It's yeah. That's why I'm really worried about that. Have you seen that video where the orangutan is spearfishing? It watched people fish with spears, then it made a spear and started fishing. I'm like, all right, here we go. It's the Planet of the Apes.
But orangutans are going extinct. I hear it all the
Yeah,
time
but
on the radio
it's
about.
that the point is that they can learn complex tool usage,
I mean,
and that is crazy.
yeah.
Like they can watch people, and then they're like, "I could do that." Like, whoa, okay, well, calm
Monkey
down.
see, monkey do.
You're right.
That
Monkey poo all
phrase,
over you.
that phrase came from somewhere.
Yeah. But so like back to Bigfoot, it's it's like, even though we don't have, solid evidence that something like that exists, like it's definitely not impossible. Although I will say I'm not a Bigfoot believer. I'm Bigfoot skeptical, but I don't think it's impossible. I don't have never seen any concrete evidence for it, but I want him to exist. I want Bigfoot. I want there to be some sort of North American dwelling great ape that throws rocks at people and smells like a skunk. I want that to be true. That would be pretty cool.
Is there any evidence as far as like in the ape genome that suggests that there's some sort of scent that they give off?
No, it's just anecdotal evidence.
Okay.
People are just saying, I was out in my yard in the middle of the night and I heard something, and then something threw a rock at me, and I smelled a strong skunk smell, and I know that was Bigfoot. And they just, just the crazy stories Southern people tell sometimes when they get spooked.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked about Bigfoot. If you had to pick a favorite cryptid, what do you think that your favorite cryptid would be?
I had to pick one.
Yeah.
Now, as far as cryptids go, what are the guidelines for what falls under a cryptid and what falls under just like ancient history text situation?
Let's see what the definition of cryptid is. Um, it's an animal such as Sasquatch or the Loch Ness monster that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist. That's the guideline.
That's a pretty vague guideline. So literally anything that has been written about or talked about in the history of the world can be considered a cryptid.
Yep.
Then Cthulhu.
Fair enough.
That's always going to be my favorite.
I knew that you were going to say that from the beginning.
Situation. Yeah, I don't know.
Yep. What is Cthulhu?
Cthulhu is like this giant mastermind of a sea creature that is like it resembles a I guess a giant octopus, but it has a certain intelligence about it, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of hard to put it in words exactly what it is because there's so many different versions of it.
Yeah. I believe the Lovecraftian version, which I believe is the original, I think it has like supernatural or godlike properties, and something about like the exposure to it like drives you mad. I've heard that before, and there's like games about it and stuff. I can't recall.
Well, I mean, there's a form like there's a species in the form of like if you can imagine like Cthulhu hybrid man, there is like a species in that situation in like Dungeons and Dragons settings. And they have those kind of like telepathic mind abilities and stuff like that. that you would think Cthulhu has. So
Yeah, when I've seen Cthulhu depicted, it's always been like a man with like an octopus for a head.
yeah, and that's a Dungeons and Dragons situation. That's the what I was talking about. The species that's within that realm.
Yeah. What do you know the like what the original version was like?
No,
I'm pretty sure the original was written about and created by H.P. Lovecraft, but I've never read the book or anything,
yeah,
so like I don't know anything about it.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know much about it. I just know like the reason why it's my favorite is because of the all the different versions that suggest it has like mind abilities and stuff like that. And I mean, look at like a lot of the depictions, like the visual depictions and the artwork out there for it are really cool, and I really enjoy those things.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of artwork depicting Cthulhu, and it is really cool. Um, I think I think my favorite cryptid is the chupacabra because of kind of the same thing. There's different versions, and chupacabra means goat sucker, and like all the legends that come from that, where like people specifically in Mexico and other parts of South America say that they have seen this thing that they either describe as like a hairless dog or some sort of like imp like creature, something that like has red eyes and wrinkly skin, and they say that it comes to their farms or homes
Sucks the
usually at
blood.
night and sucks the blood out of their goats
Yeah.
or other livestock.
It's like a hybrid vampire dog. Like those the the dogs in I Am Legend,
Mm-hmm.
like those kind of dogs.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty much what. Well, I don't know. Like I've also seen depictions of him with like mangy fur. Like if it has fur, it's like patchy
Yeah.
and thin. Um, but it looks like a starving, medium-sized dog. But I've also seen it look like I guess like an imp, like you would see in any sort of game with mythical creatures, like wings and like a demon-like head that's like small with small horns, and I I've seen it depicted as being able to fly, like it has wings, but also I've seen where it has no flight capabilities and it just like crawls on the ground. There's like a lot of depictions and a lot of descriptions by people, and it's pretty cool. Um, Anything like that, I'm interested in, where it doesn't have uh, like a real world explanation.
Hmm.
Like I want it to be supernatural, but probably doesn't exist.
So like in the sense of what the vague definition of what a cryptid is. So like any mythological creature throughout time, anything that we currently have suggested that is real is considered to be a cryptid. So like the ancient creatures of Greece are considered to be cryptids, right?
Yeah, technically.
Um,
Or
creatures from ancient Japan, you know,
uh,
cryptids, right?
yeah, I mean, I think pretty much any creature that hasn't been proven to exist falls into that category. But I think there's I think that there is some stipulation that would say that someone somewhere has to have claimed to have seen it before. Like, I'm sure that there has to be an example of the legend of a creature that people have heard about but have never claimed to actually have seen. But on the other hand, even if only one person, as an example, let's take a hydra, a giant fire-breathing hydra. Um, I think that most people would say, yeah, that's like just a legend. Probably no one's ever claimed to have seen it. But what if right now I say, oh, I saw one last week. Now it's a cryptid.
Well, I mean,
That's just an example.
ex- and that's like the kind of the point I'm getting at,
Mm-hmm.
because like someone somewhere has said that they've seen it,
Right.
no matter what it is. Like,
Probably.
exactly. Uh,
We could make up new cryptids right now.
yeah, I don't really want to though.
No, I don't have the brain power for that right now. It's too early.
But we could come up with, something cool down the line. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Kind of to very quickly tie this into pedals, we've talked about, doing 2-in-1 pedals.
Mm-hmm.
And like, for example, say we put a great white distortion in the same box as a vampire squid, and then we made this creature that was a fusion of a vampire squid and a shark, where maybe the front half was a shark, and then instead of having fins and a tail and stuff, it had tentacles.
Yeah.
That would be considered a cryptid, I guess. And we've even talked about in the past doing special edition versions of the aquatic line, but turning it into cryptids. I think that could be cool, but anyway, that was just a quick segue into pedals. But
Well, just to real quick add on to that, like we have plans in place for the mythological line, which is technically falls under the cryptid thing.
yeah, true.
So, I don't want to talk anymore about it
Yep,
because I kind of want to keep it a secret.
we should. That's a good idea.
But yeah, the chupacabra, the all the like the I can see like Sasquatch, hot Sasquatch, cold Sasquatch, that situation. But to go from like a medium-sized dog to this flying demon creature, like that's a pretty big range.
Yeah. Do you know about the Jersey Devil?
I have heard of the Jersey Devil. I've not done enough research to really understand what it is.
I think that the Jersey Devil is almost like the American version of the Chupacabra, but the origination is a little different. They have said that this monster was created through an unholy union of this specific woman, and she gave birth to this like deformed creature. And it pretty much has the same characteristics of the chupacabra, and it needed blood to survive and all these things, and it was like outcast from society, and people like I guess like tried to kill her, and like while she was carrying it, um believing that she had been impregnated by some sort of supernatural being, and I guess like she survived all of the attempts on her life and gave birth to this hybrid creature, and I guess it like terrorized the area or whatever. And yeah, I guess it's like supposed to be some sort of chupacabra offshoot or relation to the chupacabra.
So it has like some sort of same kind of likeness or qualities that the
Yeah,
chupacabra has.
like a similar appearance
Yeah. I mean,
and activity.
but which appearance is the similar one? Like the one that
Um,
looks like a dog or the one that looks like a flying imp?
yes.
Okay.
Either one.
So
So
so there's been accounts of both of them.
yeah, people have been making up stories for a long time.
And when did the Jersey Devil, come into play?
Well, that's a good question. Let me look that up. It was pretty early in American history.
Okay.
Jersey.
It was like a witch situation.
Yeah, exactly. It was around that time.
You know what I don't get is that how did they know that she had an unholy union and got pregnant or whatever?
This is what, according to Wikipedia, this is what it says. According to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds, known as Mother Leeds. The legend states that Mother Leeds had 12 children, and after finding she was pregnant for the 13th time, cursed the child in frustration, crying that the child would be the devil. In 1735, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night while her friends gathered around her. Born as a normal child, the 13th child changed to a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail. Growling and screaming, the child beat everyone with its tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. In some versions of the tale, Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. Some versions of the legend also state that there was subsequent attempts by local clergymen to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. So, yeah, that's 1735. And Dad was Satan, so I like the part where it flies up the chimney.
Now, did he say that it beat the family to death or just beat the
I
family?
think it just beat him up. I like how it also says it was born a normal baby and then transformed like instantaneously.
Yeah,
Somehow.
that's a little silly. That's a little too silly for me. I prefer the witch and the devil story
Yeah.
because that one seems a little too far off for me.
Yeah. All I know is we're gonna have to go to the Pine Barrens and exorcise that demon.
We have exorcised the demon. This house is clear.
Hope you brought your sage. But yeah, Jersey Devil's a cool one. Apparently, like people still see it and see it like running in the forest and stuff. And
I strongly believe that something that was born in 1735 has died by now.
unless it's the devil, though,
But it wouldn't be the devil itself.
it'd be the
It'd be the spawn.
spawn of Satan.
I mean, that doesn't make sense at all to me. Not even a little bit.
This says Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon, is also claimed to have seen the Jersey Devil on his hunting trip in Bordentown in 1820. This says in 1840, the Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings. Similar attacks were reported during 1841, accompanied by tracks and screams. In Greenwich during 1925, a local farmer shot an unidentified animal as it attempted to steal his chickens and then photographed the corpse. He claims that none of the
in
100 people he showed could identify it.
In 1920?
1925. It
Does
says,
it have a picture?
no, it doesn't. I'm sure that picture probably exists, but
while you're reading that, I'm just gonna look it up.
okay. And then it also says in 1937, an unknown animal with red eyes was seen by residents of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, and was compared to the Jersey Devil. In 1951, a group of Gibbstown, New Jersey boys claimed to have seen a monster matching the devil's description. Claims of a corpse matching the Jersey Devil's description arose in 1957. During 1960, tracks and noises heard near Mays Landing were claimed to be from the Jersey Devil. And the people offered a $10,000 reward for the capture of the Jersey Devil and offered to build a private zoo to house the creature if it was captured. Apparently, then there was like a wave of sightings in 1909. Yeah, so like it's spanned, like it's the legend has spanned a couple centuries, which is, seems unlikely. Um, as far as the description goes, like this says that it's believed to partially be nothing more than a creative manifestation by the English settlers, which, duh. That's probably exactly what it is. And then I guess there's been some hoaxes too, where people have like faked footprints of the Jersey Devil using horse hooves. So yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I've seen in the past when people are talking about what it looks like. Can you describe that for people listening?
So I've come across. Well, just for first off, I couldn't find whatever picture, the 1925 picture of the Jersey Devil. So that must just be like an account of like I took a picture, but the picture no longer exists situation.
Right.
Um, but while I was looking for that, I came across something called a hammer-headed bat.
Yeah.
That looks fairly similar to what people describe to be the Jersey Devil. And it's got like it almost looks like if I had to describe like the shape of the head, I would say it's kind of similar to like a horse shape.
Like a longer face.
Yeah, it's got like a long face, and there's not like a clear concave of where the forehead goes into the nozzle.
Nozzle.
I don't know what that's called.
That bat's got a long nozzle.
Anyway, the like the old depictions and drawings of it make it look like it essentially like a horse head. It kind of looks like a horse head. I can't think of anything else to compare it to, with like demon-ish looking wings, tail, and two hoofed feet. Like it doesn't show that it has arms. It's just wings
Right.
and 2 feet.
What does that bat feed on?
I don't know. I didn't read the picture.
Read. Well, picture's worth 1,000 words.
I have to find it again.
Because if it feeds on animals, you know, that's going to make a lot of sense. That's probably what they were seeing. But if not, then the search continues.
Yeah. I can't even find the picture that I was looking at.
Well, it's all right. Let's assume that it sucks goats.
What was it called?
Hammerhead bat, I think.
Hammer.
I've. Oh, go ahead if you found it.
It says mass 12 ounces, so it's pretty small.
Yeah, that's like extremely small.
I mean, like, you essentially couldn't hold it with one hand, so it's like big enough to fit in two hands. Like, I would say it's probably similar size to like a large guinea pig.
Would you say it is smaller than a cantaloupe?
Like an average size cantaloupe?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't I guess if it was like all tucked in. It says it's a fruit bat, a big lipped bat.
Well,
so it's from
big lipped bat.
So the diet: figs.
Whoa, buddy.
Bananas, havas, mangoes, other cultivated crops. So they don't necessarily drink blood, but they do have red eyes.
Oh, well, that could be something then. But if it's like the size of a cantaloupe, I doubt that people were mistaking that.
But on one hand, that bat does have a striking resemblance to what has been described as a Jersey Devil.
What's the tail look like? Is it a long tail?
I don't know.
I mean, I doubt it because it's a bat.
There's not really any pictures of its tail.
We need to know the truth. I doubt it has a long tail. It's a bat. They don't normally have long tails. But I think that if it's that small, I doubt people were seeing it like run through the woods and leave horse-size footprints.
Yeah, it's not like a super long tail like is described as in the Jersey Devil stories. It's a normal size tail.
There are certain species of bat that get pretty big.
Yeah.
To the point where people have affectionately named them sky puppies. But for a small bat, I really doubt that that's what people were mistaking for the Jersey Devil.
I'm really not a fan of bats.
You don't like bats?
Not really.
If they didn't carry disease so commonly, I would really like them. But, have you ever heard of any legends surrounding, to bring this a little more locally, have you heard anything about Devil's Den?
I mean, as far as like where this is going, no. But I've been there.
Well, it's kind of the same story I've heard growing up. First of all, for anyone who is unfamiliar with Devil's Den, it is a state park consisting of systems of caves in northeastern Arkansas, around...
I'd say northwestern.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Northwestern Arkansas.
It's kind of like right in the middle of the Ouachita Mountains.
Yeah, it's close to Fayetteville. And and it's like you can like walk these trails and go at certain points of the year. You can go inside these caves, and for the last like year and a half, uh, they've banned access to the caves because the bats have some sort of medical condition called white nose disease. I think when I read on the sign, it said that it was some sort of fungus that was um, compromising that bat population, and so they're trying to keep people away from it. But I've heard that there are creatures like down in the caves and stuff, and there's the caves are pretty cold, and there's one cave in particular called the Devil's Ice Box, and I've been down in it, and it's really cold, and I've heard legends that there are chupacabra or Jersey Devil like things down in those caves, and that's why you have to be careful going alone. And Sydney and I went there for our anniversary last year, and I didn't see anything, but also they still had the caves blocked off. We may or may not have gotten pretty close to going inside of one, though. I may or may not have a picture of Sydney standing in front of a sign that says "Do not enter." Um, but we have never gotten to go like down into the caves, like any further than what you could see standing at the opening. But it's pretty creepy. And I do remember as a kid, um, going with my parents and uh, stepping inside one of the smaller caves and several bats flying out. And it kind of makes me wonder if, it's kind of the same situation if people were mistaking bats for some sort of creature. Um, I don't even know what kind of bats are there, but
I would assume they're just like the small little black
like
ones.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Because
I've seen
those are
black and brown ones.
Those are pretty common around here.
Yeah, I remember even at my high school, we had several instances of like having to call animal control to catch the small brown ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, I would imagine it's that kind of bat. But even just to get down to Devil's Den, it's like this long winding trail, and you have to go pretty uh, low in elevation compared to where you start. And there's also a very creepy church out there. Um, I can't remember what it's called, but it looks like the small kind of creepy cult-like church you would see in a horror movie or something. And I'm sorry if anyone from that church is listening.
Oh,
I'm sure it's full of fine people.
There's like
But
people
it's
actually
creepy.
go there.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's it seemed like a pretty active church, but it's like small and creepy.
Is it like like those old like um small town churches, like the white building with the large kind of pillar thing coming off the top of it?
I don't
Or is it
remember if it has a pillar,
or
but
if it's like or is it like small, like a tiny cabin kind of small?
it's I would say the whole building, if I had to guess, was probably 900 square feet. It's it's not that big. It is white and it looks like run down, and I don't remember if there's a steeple or not. I don't recall, but I just remember it being like run down, and it would be the kind of church where like I said, it seemed like maybe it was run by a cult. That's all I can say. And I'm sure it wasn't.
At some point, maybe.
Yeah, but anyway, the close proximity of the church to Devil's Den, a little suspicious. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm sure there's like plenty of cryptids that we haven't heard about.
Yeah, and we've talked about bringing cryptid expert Jonathan Turco back for another episode, and I think he wants to jump in on this conversation, so we don't want to cover all of them anyway. You think we should end it here?
I do.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want to ruin that future episode. I'm hoping that he'll be available soon.
I'm also interested in any cryptids that our listeners have heard about that maybe we haven't.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'd be cool for them to comment or send us a message and give us a little bit of a story.
Yeah, if you're listening on YouTube, or if you want to just send us a message, if you're listening on Spotify, like to our Instagram account or whatever, tell us about, your favorite cryptid, or maybe an obscure one that you don't think we've heard about. Or the most interesting thing you could do is, if you have any personal eyewitness experience that you want to share, tell us about that, and maybe we can talk about it on the next episode and give you a shout out or something. But yeah, definitely, if you have any experiences you want to share, reach out to us. Email us at tapedals@gmail.com, or get a hold of us on Instagram. Yeah, I guess that'll do it for this episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening as usual. We'll talk to you on episode 33. And yeah, we're really getting up there.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. 52's coming quick.
Yeah. And then, yeah.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.